Hey everybody, and welcome to the first video here. We are going to call this process, this idea of running a business, we're going to call it the ultimate case study. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a business, some passive income, and I say passive as in not really passive, but income stream in our spare time. And I purposely didn't say part time; I said spare time. So here's why that is. So before we start, we are going to call this the ultimate case study. You can go to ultimatecasstudy.com later because it's not built yet, but I own the domain. And you'll be able to just kind of follow along there and get some ideas and then subscribe and stuff like that. So that's part of it. But I do want to make this first thing very clear. This is going to be a descriptive process, not a prescriptive process. What does that mean? I'm going to describe to you what I'm doing in the business that I'm creating. This is not to say that you should be doing these exact things in your business. I don't know your skill set. You have a different outcome that I'm looking for, whatever it is. So this isn't saying, hey, you should be doing these things. If you find a better way or know a better way to do something, do that, right? This is just me explaining and showing you what I'm doing on a weekly basis to build a income stream. And I'll talk about the numbers and goals here in a minute, but to show you what that process looks like from my point of view. So this is not meant to be like, hey, this is exactly how you build a business. You're going to have to figure that out, hopefully through looking into this stuff, but also you figure out what works best for you and what your situation is. So again, ultimate case study. So some things that we're going to kind of do. So what are the goals for this? I'm thinking of the process that we're going to put out in place. And this is going to start probably the second or third week of January, only because I have a marathon to run before then, but I'm going to show you some things I think we're going to do. So every week I'm going to work on the business. And then what I'll do is basically that kind of Monday through Sunday, work on the business. And then on Monday night, I'll have my notes from the week. I'll make a video kind of like this. And then I'll put that out. I'll edit it on Tuesday, and then I'll put out that information, that video on Wednesday, along with the blog post that accompanies that particular piece of content. So the goal of it is, so just kind of clear what we're doing. We're going to be building websites and YouTube channels under that one of the businesses I own for Aegis Holdings. Doesn't matter all that. We'll talk about more later, the structure and everything. But basically, the first one is Military Test Prep. So if some of you guys already know that already exists, that business already started last year. It started in I'll basically recap that in the first video of what we've done so far up to this point. But there's only been one long form video, one short video, and 2 blog posts, I think, on the website. And that's all it's been built on there. So not necessarily 100% ground zero, but I'll show you from that point. I'm actually taking it seriously this year and actually doing it full time, spare time. And I'll explain what that means in a second too. But I'll be showing you weekly what I'm doing to build that business out and that income stream out in 2024, and then probably also 2025, because the goal of this is to have a business or content that is generating $2,000 a month in revenue in my spare time. So what does spare time mean? So spare time is I'm not allowed to work between 9 and 5. So I want to emulate the fact that I have a job. I also need to work a part-time job. So I do work at a restaurant now, and I'll be doing that as well. I'll be working 20 hours or so a week, at minimum 20 hours a week. So I'm emulating someone who has a full-time 9 to 5 job. And I'm saying 9 to 5 is an arbitrary number. It could be 8 to 4, but 9 to 5 job, plus has a part-time job and wants to build this in their spare time. So 40 hours plus 20 hours is 60 hours minimum. I cannot work in those windows. Those are the windows I'm not allowed to work. Now, I don't work every day at the restaurant, so I can work in between those days, obviously. Plus, I got to make content for this particular site. Plus, that. So I'll be basically doing through my work day for this channel for Ultimate Case Study. I will be doing stuff in my regular business hours, because that's not the other business, right? But anything for that other business, for this first couple of things is Military Test Prep. I will only do that stuff in the hours outside of a part-time job and what would be considered a full-time job, 9 to 5. So anything I do for this one will be out in the hours of the full-time job, because this is not part of that content. That makes remotely any sense, but you get the idea. So there's that. So I want to make sure 9 to 5 can't work. I have to eliminate 20 hours a week of work because I'm going to work a part-time job. And with that being said, Also, any money that goes into the business from me cannot be investments or cash flow from my regular life. It needs to come from the part-time job. So if you work a regular job plus have a part-time job, you can use a part-time job to invest in your side hustle, which will your spare time job, which should in theory give you income per month. And the goal is to have, again, 2,000 a month in gross revenue. So again, not net, but gross revenue within 24 months. Have 2,000 a month coming in. There's going to be expenses, obviously, but the goal is 2,000. And the reason that number exists is because eventually you want to be able to sell the site for 50,000, which is, if you have $2,000 a month in gross, you should be less than $500 a month in expenses on this kind of business. So with that happening, you're a multiple of 35, so you get to about $52,000. So 50,000. We'll explain all this stuff later. Don't worry about that so much right now. I'm getting into the weeds for no reason. And I will slow down in the videos, trust me. This is like a data dump right now. So for a couple things. First, I do have some assets I built literally this morning. It's 11:26 on the 19th of December right now as I'm recording this. And I built a Facebook page, just the URL. So it's facebook.com/ultimate case study. I built a Twitter profile. So it's x.com. I say Twitter, but x.com. x.com/ulti case study. Again, there's nothing on there. I'll provide all these in a second. Don't worry about this right now. I also built a YouTube channel at Ultimate Case Study, and I own the domain Ultimate Case Study, which I think I've owned for a few years now. Part of my 2,500 domains that I own, which I shouldn't, but I do. So those will all be there. What I think about doing is the Facebook page will be kind of like updates and motivation kind of stuff. Like, here's what I'm doing. If I see a good video on YouTube that I like, I'll put that on Facebook as well. X will be kind of like a live stream of information. So, hey, I'm working on, if you go follow Ultimate Case Study on Twitter, I'll be basically saying, hey, working on editing XYZ video today. Starting to work on whatever, boom, boom. Then the next post 2 hours later might be finished editing for the day. Here's some progress, whatever it is, right? That'll also be part of the blog post that I put out every week on ultimatecasestudy.com about the weekly events that I did in that business. So just so you guys kind of know what I'll be showing any kind of expenses that I have for the business, things that I'm paying for, working on. I'll also be showing things that I have that are income. So if I have any affiliate marketing stuff, any AdSense from Google or YouTube coming in, if I do any commission kind of stuff, I'll show you all those kind of things. Obviously, I'll be blocking out who they come from, so there's not that kind of stuff. Anything comes from my end that I can actually see, I'll show you there. I'll also be showing you what I make at the restaurants. I'll show you that stuff so you can see, hey, I made $500 this week. I put $150 into the business. I have $350 left over for whatever. So you'll kind of see that as well. So I'll put all that together for you guys on a weekly post, show that out there. I'll also make a video for that post. So the video will be showing the post and then doing whatever. So that'll be kind of all built out. So I think with the plan as of right now, again, this is the 19th of December. This is not fully finalized yet, but the plan is on the Monday of the week following the week that I worked, I'll make a video on Monday night. I'll edit it Tuesday night, and then I'll post it, have it ready to post on Wednesday sometime in the morning. I would assume, whatever, I'll schedule it. So a video will go out, and the blog post will launch that morning as well. So if you want to read, you can read. If you want to watch, you can watch. These are going to be very rough like this. I'm not going to go crazy editing these. This channel, if this gets monetized and makes some money, fine, whatever. But really, this is not not the purpose of any of this. It's to basically build the other business and show you that even if you have a 9-to-5 plus you have a part-time job, you can still in your spare time create revenue. And I want to kind of show that. So so this will be less editing. I'm not going to outsource editing for this. I'm going to write the blog post myself. I'm going to do the editing for this myself. I've also created I meant to tell you this before. I've created a Google Drive folder. So, and I'll give you access to that as well. I'll make a URL shortener for it that you can go to very easily. And in that folder, it'll have like expenses, income. It'll show you everything on there. It'll be full spreadsheets of all that stuff. Obviously extracted information that you don't need. But it'll show you income, the actual numbers in there. And I'll also do like videos that I've watched. So if I'm learning how to edit a video, which I don't know how to edit, I've always outsourced everything in my businesses before. I'm actually trying to do it myself now because it's obviously showing people how to do it. How I'm learning how to do stuff. And then what I'll do is I'll have a section for like videos that I've watched that are like inspirational slash motivational. I have videos that I've watched for learning how to edit stuff or doing whatever. I don't know how to do books for a small business because I've always had an accountant on staff. Don't know how to do that. I obviously have some knowledge of how money works, clearly, but I don't know exactly how it works for a small business directly. I know indirectly how it works, but I've never actually dug into it. So I guess I'm getting QuickBooks for this business. I actually might incorporate a new business, to be fair, underneath my main business to do that. I actually might do that. Will I do that for this? Maybe. I gotta think about that. It's another expense which I don't really need for a website per se, because even though it is owned, the domains are owned by my main company. Could I move that out and then when I sell it, have that? I could do that maybe. I'll let you know. It's an inexpensive anyway. A corporation is a couple $100 to formate and run, and then do taxes on there. I might do that because I'm gonna get a separate EIN number that way. Yeah, I might do that. Anyway, so that's the plan. So I'm kind of it's gonna be as transparent as possible. And then what I would encourage you to do is if you have questions about the weekly posts, I might do a midweek video or so like for instance on ultimatecasestudy.com under the weekly posts, like, so I'm thinking about calling these seasons. So season 1 will be military test prep, right? So episode 1 will be the first episode of the first week that we work on it. So you figure, it'll be some YouTube, some content creation stuff for on the website for military test prep. That'll be like season 1, episode 1, season 1, episode 2. And if you, in theory, if you do it over 2 years, you'll have roughly 104 episodes of that first season. Then we'll build a new site and a new content piece, and that'll be episode or season 2 or series 2, depending if you're in the UK or not. Series 2. So that'll be basically different seasons. You can follow along as you build each one, and you'll see how we grow. So one thing I'll tell you that I think most people misunderstand about business, and a lot of people don't start businesses or try to do certain things outside of their normal wheelhouse because of this one thing, which is they're afraid to fail at something. This very well may not work. This could very well not work. For those of you who don't know what the military test prep is all about, again, I've only done a couple things in there, but basically I'm showing people how to pass the ASVAB, which is the entrance exam for the military. Okay. That's declining. People are not taking the test anymore. People are not joining the military anymore. So that process has been declining for years now. So I'm going into a dead space. I'm okay with that though. So the idea is to build. My dog's over there looking at me. The idea is to build a business, and the goal is not the revenue. The goal is the skill set you learn in building a business. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're truly an entrepreneur, success is not measured by the dollar amount that you make. Now you might think that, but that's not what I think. Yes, I need to make money to cover the business expenses and obviously build a business and obviously replace any kind of income that I've been having if that was the goal. But real success is how the work has transformed you, not how you have transformed the work. So I'm going to learn how to edit videos super fast. I'm going to be terrible the first year at doing this. I'm going to take so long to edit videos. My first video I did, I think was a 15, 20-minute video. It took me 19 hours to edit that video. It's ridiculous. It took me almost 2 weeks to edit that video because it was so much stuff. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Normally I'd outsource it for $500 and say, hey, make me a video and call it a day. That's what I normally would do. But for this one, I want to do it myself. I want to go through the process of being the person who doesn't have the means to do that, and going through and, like I said, outside of a 9 to 5 plus working a part-time job, can you build a side hustle? So that's that. And then but that's the idea, right? Is that the goal is to get better at running a business, learning books, learning how to keep books, learning how to do this stuff. I had an accountant on staff for $3,000 a month. I didn't touch any of that stuff before. I don't know how to do it. Okay, here's what we have. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we have. People came to me. Hey, I want to pay for this. Sure, go ahead and pay for it. Nope, we don't have the money for that right now. I don't want to spend the money on this. Do it monthly versus annual. All that kind of stuff. So I'll be showing that. And then, like I said, Facebook.com, Twitter or X, YouTube, and the website. I also have Instagram, which I won't be using that very much. I'm not really an Instagram guy. But I'm sure there's some visuals we could be looking at, analytics, stuff like that. But I'm not sure that's the best format. But again, I will be showing all of my Google Analytics, both for YouTube and for for the website. So for analytics for the website, and also for AdWords and AdSense, not AdWords, AdSense for YouTube, and if I have any advertising on the website as well. I think one of the revenues we're going to be using, there's going to be a couple different ways we're going to build revenue, which we're not remotely there. We got to build content first, just to be clear. So that's revenue's not for a while. We're looking at least 6 to 9 months before revenue is even a thought in this business. But the idea is to build content out first. But revenue will probably come from affiliate marketing programs. I'll be building a course for this, and also ads from Google as the content on YouTube starts to build out an audience as well. I'm not really a numbers goal oriented person. I'm more about activities, like what activities. I personally believe that if you do enough activities, correct activities, you'll be prosperous in a business. So doing the right things and focusing on stuff. We'll have to build a why statement. We'll have to build out some of the stuff too, like why the company exists, what the purpose of the company is, that kind of stuff too, which I think we should all do, is like know your why. It's kind of like a phrase you'll learn about doing this. And then with that mission statement in place, we'll be able to build out content through there. So but anyway, I just want to kind of get this data dump out to you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. And then if you want to add comments below here, I guess this is on YouTube. Let's call this YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Put your comments below about what you think about this and anything you want to see more of or less of. If you think about, hey, I would like to also see this. I probably won't be doing any live streams at all. I might do the occasional Saturday live streams where, like, hey, I'm going to be writing some content, come hang out, that kind of thing, where I answer some questions while I'm writing. But for the most part, it'll just be like updates, like in arrears of what's happened, not beforehand. So let me know your thoughts. Thanks. Gotta find the stop button now.